make sure that this is actually on the internet. Yes. Yes. All right, that can go away. All right. Okay, well, before we actually get into our musical part, let's do a little bit of other work just to make sure that we are feeling good about ourselves. All right. So this something we haven't done a lot of together is some long tones slash tuner work. So let's do that now, shall we? Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my regular intonation on a concert A, like we always do. And I'm tuning at A441. A lot of people I play with play at 442. That's 442 cycles per second. A lot of people that I play with play at 440. So I kind of have to be facile to get back in between the 442 and the 440 people. So 440 is a little flatter, 442 is a little sharper. So I work on my intonation at 441, which is this. So let me just check out my general level of in-tuneness. All right, let's say that we're pretty close. So let's start doing some long tones that involve the tuner, okay? So to give myself a break, I'm not going to go with my super low notes, which have their own intonation challenges, but I'm going to put my tuner on a drone here. This is concert F. This is the G scale that I'm going to play here for a second. And as I play with that drone, I'm going to listen to, I'm going to play a scale very slowly. I'm going to listen to the octave, I'm going to listen to the fourth, and I'm going to listen to the fifth. The other notes I don't really care too much about in this context. But I'm going to linger on the perfect intervals, the perfect octave, the perfect fourth, and the perfect fifth, because you can actually really hear whether those are in tune or not, and that's going to place your instrument where you need to be. So nice and slow. Low G here. All right, so this tells me I'm just a little high overall, so I'm gonna adjust my barrel out ever so slightly, move up a whole step. closer. I'm just going to, I have an adjustable barrel here. So this allows me to make really minute differences in where I'm at. So I'm just going to take this out like the briefest eighth of a turn. See what happens here. Up a half step, B flat. So I adjusted too far, so I'm going to pull back a little bit. I'm also going to pull out here. It'll equalize my intonation a little bit. Shorten up here, lengthen here, same length. All right, let's do a couple more. I'm close. I'm really close to being locked in here. Again, I'm really only listening to the perfect intervals, the octaves, the fourths, and the fifths. Those are the ones that are going to tell me where my intonation is. All these other intervals, the second, the third, the sixth, the seventh, are all imperfect. They all have different ways that you would actually play them in tune with another player. So I don't really worry about them. I'm just trying to be steady. Here's B natural. So generally speaking, on a normal day, I might go through that, through maybe 12 notes of the chromatic scale. Today, not so much. But if you could spend days like that, just kind of lazily looking at your intonation, it'll like sort of straighten itself out in no time. I also don't like I don't think it's as constructive to like look at a tuner while you're doing it, because you end up making adjustments based on what you can see versus what you can hear. And that's not musical, is it? That's not musical, is it? So, hello everyone, here we go. Finally, here we have our scale. Let me go down a little bit. There. E minor. Just ever so slightly do that. A little bright, but it vibrates, so I'm going to stick with it. So I'm going to go back to my metronome now. And I'm going to reiterate and remind myself of what E natural minor and G major feels like. So I'm going to go up and down the instrument in 2 octaves in 16th notes on each scale degree, actually doing the modes of G major and E minor, which are the same. Just a little stretchy stretch. Really easy, just blowing through the horn as evenly and beautifully as you can. Yeah, and that really is just an extension almost of your long tone activity. So we're sort of like eliding, we're slipping and sliding in from long tones into scales, okay? So the first thing I want to do is just do that modal practice up and down the instrument. I wanted to do something else. What did I want to do? Oh, yeah. I wanted to take a drink of water. And the other thing I want to do is start to mess around with this thing a little bit. Again, this is my spirometer. It's a 5-liter spirometer. This measures and tests your air intake, okay? So there are a few ways you could go about this. A lot of them only go up to 4 liters. This one goes up to 5 because I'm a big dude and I need it. So if I were to just drag as fast as I can, inhale, I could spike this. So basically like this. that's not actually how you use the device. You'll see that there are three markings here. There's good, there's better, and there's best. And I start with good. What you want to try to do is inhale in a controlled fashion and keep this little yellow stopper just sitting right there in the middle of good. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, look, I only went to 4 liters. It's much more difficult if I'm just dragging good. Let's see if I can go to better in the middle here. Better. All right, I expanded a second already. So I'm going to start to intersperse my scales with a little bit of this work in between. So let's go to harmonic minor. Same as natural minor, we're going to raise the 7th. That is the D sharp. Okay, just like that. So we're going to set the metronome at 100, subdivision on, 4 iterations per breath, listening for the evenness, the beauty of the sound, not the speed. Super even. A 2. And again. Okay, not bad. I want to keep that as under control as much as possible because I'm going to move my tempos pretty quick today. So how I go about the early tempos is going to dictate how the upper tempos are going to work out for me. So I'm trying to drag the metronome, trying to be very, very even and just as easy with the technique as possible. 120, subdivision off. Same idea, 140, easy and even, that's all we're looking at. 1, a 2, 1. Okay, now I'm starting to put 5 reps. 5 iterations of the scale per breath, which is taxing me a little bit, but that's what I want. So why don't I tax myself a little bit more? We're trying to go for this middle section, the better again. Here we go. This time I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Let my fat belly get nice and relaxed here. You see how far I let my belly go? I don't really care. Here we go. 1, 2. Yeah, so look on the side here. I'm going to get nice and fat as I take a breath. And then I'm going to use this as my engine to send the air back up. So I'm going to actually, once I keep this breath out, you're going to kind of see that my stomach stays out as I breathe out. So when I fill up my air, I'm trying to fill up like from the bottom down, like I'm pulling all the air down. Here's your diaphragm, right? The diaphragm pulls down and out to pull that air into you. That's, you know, a muscle can only do one thing. It can only contract. I can only pull my arm up with my bicep. I have to pull my arm back with my tricep. It can only contract and then it can only relax. The contracting motion of your diaphragm, which is a flat pan-like muscle, is down and out. This is a contraction. And then the relaxation is the air that you let out. It's really weird to have to produce sound via a relaxed motion in your muscle, but that's just what has to happen. So when I breathe in, I give all of that area, and then I squeeze myself out from that bottom like a tube of toothpaste. I don't want to squeeze from the top here. I want to squeeze, pull it out, and then roll it back up. Squeeze it back up. So that all the energy and all of the speed of your air comes from the lowest part of your torso. Here's our goal, 160. 160 is getting there. Let's just be concentrating. Let's not worry too much about the tempo. Just worry about the evenness and how beautiful it is. 1, 2. That's fast. All right, let's go back. We're back to 100, back to the subdivision, and now we're going to do melodic minor. Okay, so we changed the 6th and 7th on the way up, and then reverse them on the way back down. Okay, I'm going to insist on not faking the D sharp with my middle finger. I'm going to insist on forking the D sharp at every opportunity. It's totally possible to do it evenly and fast as long as you practice it and practice it and practice it. So here we are. 1, a 2. Okay, not too bad. Let's go to 120, same thing, subdivision off. Looking for evenness, not speed. Just take what you just did and just think about it the same. Let your fingers do the walking. 1, 2. Okay, not too bad. I'm feeling generally okay about it. Okay, just trying to keep myself really even, not too excited, and just let this roll. Let my air do the work. Let my fingers respond to my brain's impulse to play evenly and my air's impulse to move my hands. 1. Okay, 160 is our goal, and here we are. Feeling pretty good overall. Somewhat taxing to do that five breaths in one iteration, but man, I'm really trying to expand all of my machine here. And again. Yeah, that's fast. But you know what? It's pretty close. I'm pretty okay with that on the whole. I'm not too concerned. You know, some little things crop up, but as you continue to do the reps, you really want to straighten those out so that by the time you're kind of cooking at the end of your reps, you're really playing what you want to play. All right. I'm going to swab out real quick here. Always from the bottom, please. Just get all this beautiful condensation out of my horn. All right. All right. Let's move ahead, shall we? No. There. Thank you. All right. Broken chord, arpeggio, pretty much the same thing. Start the metronome at 100 again, always at 100 for the start with the subdivision on. Okay, I'm going to ignore the articulation at first here, but I'm going to really pay attention to how I'm subdividing this for evenness. So I'm not going to be thinking, excuse me one moment, I'm not going to be thinking, I'm going to be thinking, okay? How you play evenly, it depends a lot upon how you're thinking about that subdivision inside your brain. So here we are at 100, subdivision on. Easy and even with all of those thoughts. 1. Right pinky all the way, okay? For the low E and the B. Don't even worry about anything else. Right pinky, no left pinky. Now we're going to add this articulation, slur 2, tongue 2, in 3 different iterations. Slur 2, tongue 2, tongue 1, slur 2, tongue 1, tongue 2, slur 2. Well, those are 3 iterations. This is 110, okay? 120, just in the middle, nice and easy. No big deal. Don't make too much about the articulation. All right, 120. So articulation off. Take the repeat. Take a breath, take the repeat. So 4 iterations per tempo here. 2 per breath. 1, a 2, a 1, 2. clarinet, so I want to really maintain this kind of slow affect. I want to drag the metronome, which I'm not doing at the moment. Yes. Very, very subtle, but for me, there's a big difference, or a big enough difference between what I was doing and what I just did that really just involved me putting my brain into another gear and making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. 140, here's our goal. Should be fine as long as we've been cool here. Yeah, you know, that's pretty good shit on the whole. And what I'm thinking about there is like a great violinist, you know, when they really are cooking, the really great fiddle players, you hear every note, you hear every single note in runs and arpeggios, and it's really the most, like, if you're really locked in and paying attention to what a really fine string player is doing, oh my God, I mean, they're so good and they're not missing anything. That's my model. That's what I want to be. I don't want to be a clarinet player. I want to transcend playing the clarinet into being a virtuoso on any level, on any instrument. Here we are. That's what I'm trying to do. Transcend the technique. Interrupted scale. Only really one thing to worry about here, and that's this slide, which you just took care of in a kind of subtle way. This is something I learned from Larry Collins right here, in your nostril, right? Or not in your nostril, but where your nostril meets your regular part of your face is a little like divot. If you just kind of give yourself a little scratch there, you'll put a little bit of skin grease or oil on the tip of your finger. Nobody needs to even know that you're doing it if you sort of do it nonchalantly. And what that allows my finger to do is be pretty slippery, because I have to slide diagonally here. It's one thing to slide like in a line, that's easy, or that's easy, but across and down, somewhat of a challenge. Give yourself that extra slip and slide, and you're ready to go. And again, be thinking in terms of evenness like this. Same thing. All right. 120, same thing, just extrapolate it up. We're not going to try to play this any faster. I mean, we are literally playing it faster, but we're not going to try to play it faster. Just extrapolate. Try to do the same thing, 20 clicks higher. let's try to do that at 140. Here's our goal. Again, really, 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 really quick here. 1, 2, 3. We'll call that good. All right, let's finish this scale part off with thirds, shall we? Yes, we shall. I'm going to ignore the articulation because we've already worked on that. And I ain't got all day for this. Do you? We're spending enough time, I think. So this will start to get challenging as we move the tempo up, but we're going to really try at this low tempo to be even and as accurate as possible. 100, subdivision on, take the repeat, take a breath, take the next repeat. What happened here? Let's go to 120. See if this will crush me or not. This is where it starts to get. This is where it starts to get challenging. A 1, a 2. Let's see if I can do that without forcing it over the top there, okay? Wow, that's crazy. I played it more musically and it worked out a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to try not to force it here. Here's our goal, 140. You know, it's quite quick. I'm going to test myself. I may fail. Not the first time. 1, a 2. yeah, I theoretically believe that could be better, but for today and me, maybe not. So generally speaking, for 140, I'm not gonna have too much of a problem with that for myself. All right, let me do a quick swab out, and we'll move on to Kroepsch. We'll be a little bit bigger here. So these are the best. These really make you into a good clarinet player. So we're going to take all of the skills that we've just worked on and try to now extrapolate them into a more musical context. Crazy. Let me get up my stand, because as you could see from before, whenever I do my regular scale work, I don't use any music. I just want to have this all in my head. All right. So these I work on in a very particular way. This I learned from my buddy Scott Andrews, who was the last great student of Harold Wright, who is my personal model for what a great clarinet player sounds like. Somewhere between Harold Wright and Robert Marcellus is where I want to sit. Okay, so what I do is I set this at 60, and then I just play 2 pages in context. Okay, so it gets faster and faster, but the tempo stays the same. Okay, it's just that the subdivision and how the notes are working. But if I put it at 60, the initial exercises of this are actually quite slow. So what you want to do is concentrate very, very hard in the first 5 of these on how legato it is, how seamless the connections are, and just overall how beautifully you're playing. You want to play these like you're playing it for a committee for your job, like each one of these is an orchestral excerpt, with that kind of polish, if you can. Now watch me fail at doing that. Here we go. Yeah, and try to finish musically if you can. Try to finish with a really beautiful end note. It's quite challenging to do this right, okay? Don't be fooled because it's slow. too bad. Let's keep this moving. Nice and musical, very legato. One more 16th note one. Watch out here for very large intervals, lots of blowing. All right. Same thing, sextuplets now. Keep it slow. All right, it's moving along. Okay, it's hard to not rush. Got to really try. 46. Hey, there's a moment where you have like a brain fart in the middle of the day, and you just can't you can't beat yourself up about it if something gets a little wiggly, all right? 47 is where it starts to get pretty quick here. I'm going to try to stay nice and slow. Drag the metronome if I can. 47. We're getting there. Here we go. Page 2. Make no big deal about this articulation. Just play it. Nice and fat. Not too short. Let's continue to drag the metronome slightly, okay? Don't rush, don't rush, don't rush. Very specific. Pretty well here. Let's keep going. 50. Still trying to drag as much as possible. Going to be concerned about little things that happen might happen during reps. As long as I am able to iron them out, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm not going to beat myself up. There's enough of that going on. Number 51. Let's keep it nice and easy again here. We're starting to move at a pretty good clip. As little tension in the left hand as you can. When I'm trying to do these it's really just a matter of just moving your wrist just ever so slightly. Let's see. And 3 and... That starts to move, man. That really starts to move out. Let's finish this bad boy off. 52, and then we're done for this. Very excited about that. 52. damn it. All right, well, I am fucking tired now, but I'll be back later. Thanks for sticking in with me. I really do appreciate it. That's day 4 of E minor. Some really hard stuff in there, but let's keep it moving. Thank you for coming, really, always. I do appreciate it. You are my favorite. Wait a minute. What's happening here?